London is one of the most diverse cities on the planet. Nearly half of its population identifies as Asian, Black, mixed or other ethnic backgrounds, with another 17% from white minority groups. And with almost 4 in 10 residents born outside the UK, this city is a global crossroads of culture and identity. Among the fastest growing of these communities is the Latin American community, whose presence is felt in places like Castle Square and Elephant and Castle, lined with Colombian restaurants, cafes and shops stocked with traditional foods and goods.
Hace recordar a uno la comida colombiana, sentirse como en casa. Estas tiendas se lo recuerdan y entonces es súper importante para uno volver a recordar cuando estaba en el país de uno.
Their story in London is rooted in more than food and culture. According to a report titled No Longer Invisible, the Latin American community in London, migration from Latin America surged from the 1970s onwards, driven by political unrest, military dictatorships and economic hardship.
En Latinoamérica por falta de oportunidades y venimos aquí porque es un país donde ofrece muchas oportunidades de trabajar y pues por eso emigramos, porque hay mucho mercado laboral.
But migration is only the beginning of the story. So how have Latin Americans navigating life in London adapted to a new environment, particularly when language remains a significant barrier for many?
Claro, se dificultó un poco en muchas cosas, pero bueno, Dios ha abierto puertas en este país porque es un país de oportunidades y el estudio para mi hijo ha sido excelente.
I guess the biggest struggle is just more like a personal one of understanding who you are, because in Brazil I'm a foreigner, but here I'm also a foreigner in a way as well. So yeah, understanding who I am and where I'm actually from is a bit of like a personal struggle.
I feel that my personality changed because of the language. So I'm very extrovert when I speak Spanish. But when I speak in English, I can be very shy, very introvert. Obviously, the first years was really hard to speak. I will understand English, but speaking out loud was really hard for me.
This country has embraced skills and knowledge and then support my community development, which it couldn't be done in Colombia. Probably if I was in Colombia, I wouldn't be alive. So that opportunity is really appreciated.
Despite their visible presence across London, many feel the Latin American community remains overlooked. To this day, Latin American is not recognised as an official ethnic category in the UK, meaning the true number of Latinos in the capital is hard to pin down. According to the 2021 census carried out by the Office for National Statistics, over 136,000 people identified as either Hispanic or Latin American, but with no formal category to tick, that figure is widely disputed.
For you to be able to not give recognition to Latin Americans, there's also an element of lack of political will. We have engaged with the ONS since before 2011, before even the coalition was formed. And, you know, the excuses used were from, yeah, you're not that many. There's not enough people from Latin American countries. Obviously, you can't know that unless you have a category that people are answering to. But we knew this because we worked with the community and we were counting ourselves. It creates confusion, it creates an element of separation between local population and people.
But beyond the numbers, what would official recognition actually mean for the people behind the label? And should this now be changed?
Yo sí creo que debería hacerlo porque ya somos un cierto porcentaje, ya somos mayoría, representamos un grupo, un número fuerte del Reino Unido, tanto en la capital Londres como en otras grandes ciudades como Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, incluso en Newcastle he visto muchos latinos, entonces yo creo que ya se debería considerar, claro, somos un grupo muy grande.
I think it otherizes other people who are marginalized as well. It doesn't recognize the existence. Public policy then doesn't reflect the needs of the community or responds to the needs of the community. I think 1 in 7 Latin Americans was not registered with a general practitioner or access to primary health care provision, which is so important.
When you are recognized as an ethnicity, you have more help from the state. I have a lot of privilege and I can navigate the system in English. I am a person who is knowledgeable about different things and about the English culture and how to navigate life in London, but not everyone in the community has these privileges.
Porque tenemos culturas muy diferentes al resto del mundo y deberíamos ser considerados una cultura aparte, creo yo.
One is scale, the number of people around now has reached a threshold, I would say. The second is Latinos probably face structural disadvantages in the society that even Latinos themselves are probably not aware of the disadvantages they face. Would they feel like they could compete in a competitive application process into kind of a big multinational where you're meant to speak English? I would say probably not, right? And then there you kind of feel the disadvantage. But if you're in your own community, working in a restaurant where everybody that comes in speaks Spanish, etc., perhaps you don't feel that disadvantage. So I think a lot of it's perception.
In the absence of official recognition, campaigners here like Luis organise events to help Latinos who have grown up or moved to London share their experiences in order to feel part of a wider, stronger community.
For me, first of all, it started off as, I want to bridge this disconnect I feel like there is between the younger generations of the Latin American community. But then also it kind of turned into, well, actually I feel like it's a building confidence thing. It's a building some kind of feeling okay in living between the lines and being part of this context and being Latin American and being British and feeling confused about it and, starting to learn from the generations that came before us who, if you're part of, I suppose, the more contemporary wave of migration from the middle to late 90s onwards, you don't really know about what happened before. So it became building confidence, building connections, building that communal sort of memory.
While the Latin American community here in London remains strong and united, the fight for official recognition will continue, a step many believe is key to securing better representation and access to services.